Folks at home, welcome back to the Crimson Oak Pond, and I'm excited to share our latest project with you. And we're hosting an Aquascape regional event here where around 50 contractors are coming together from all over the globe to help us build this pond. We've had people fly in from California, Canada, and even the UK, as well as multiple Artist of the Year contractors. So this is by far the most talented group of pond builders I've ever worked with, and I'm excited to show you their creation. And we've also got these two that need no introduction, Ed the Pond Professor and Greg the Pond Guy. We got some fellow YouTubers on site as well. Daniel and Houston from Arms Family Homestead are going to be doing a little fishing competition. But we've got all the materials on site. We trucked in some sand from the local beaches. And we're going to be using cedar and oak logs from right here on the farm. We've also got the aqua blue boulders and about 145 tons of stone and rock that we'll be using to build roughly a 30,000 gallon pond. And unfortunately, we got a lot of rain in the forecast, but we're going to make the best of it. Anytime the Aquascape crew is in town, it's always a good time. But before we get into the pond build, I'm excited to show you who stopped by to inspect the new pond coming together, and one of the bald eagles finally landed on the Eagle Tower. And we built the Eagle Tower this past spring in hopes that they would one day use it as a nesting site or even a lookout tower, and a pair of them have been using it all week. You can tell the new water hole has piqued their curiosity, as well as the cameras right here on the tower.
So it's good to be back here again, Stephen, with my man Ed. We were here 5 years ago at his house?
Yep.
Okay, so we've been a long-time follower of you guys, super wanting to support what you do. What's super exciting for us is this is very typical, Ed, for a build where somebody gets a smaller water feature. We like to say the average person gets 3 water features: big, bigger, biggest, good, better, best. This is pretty much the Taj Mahal.
Absolutely. This is an incredible feature. So we specialize in ecosystem style ponds. We're using a rubber membrane to hold the water in place. That's going to also allow us to get really good water quality. Your massive bass pond, completely different animal. So that is an earthen pond. It is created with the clay membrane. It's designed for breeding and growing fish. This, we're going to have clean, clear water. It's a massive aquarium.
Working with Mother Nature, not against her. Ed is a limnologist, which is the study of freshwater ecosystems. I am the pond guy, just a guy that loves turtles, fish, and frogs. And for us to be able to come out and show people what they can do in their properties. This would be kind of a Ferrari of a water feature, but the average water feature that people get is an 11 by 16, a little bit smaller than what you got on your first one in your house. They just want to be able to sit and relax and enjoy nature out in their backyards. So for me, 3 decades working together, this is going into our 33rd year at Aquascape. Our entire goal is to reconnect people with water the way nature intended it. And for events like this, where we invite other contractors to be part of this, the goal would be to train them, educate them, and teach them on ponds done right, customers served right, which is the mantra of the Certified Aquascape Contractor program. So we got guys from Canada here. We've got a guy from England, that just came over. That's a new teammate for me, for us selling over in England. We got a couple of local guys from Alabama, South Carolina, California. So these are all people that are either fan of your Stevens or fan of Aquascapes, and we're teaching them how to build ponds the Aquascape way.
All right, just got a lot of the equipment offloaded. We got some lights in case we're working out here after dark. We got some extra equipment this time. We got the skid steer, 2 excavators, but check out that little dingo. That'll come in handy whenever we're moving all these rocks and gravel and things like that. So a real quick glimpse of where we left off in the last video. We set a lot of boulders around these wooden pieces and focused on the deep portion of the pond that's going to be about 4.5 feet deep. And my favorite part of that were the 2 fish caves we built. I know the fish are going to love those. And the last thing we had to do before getting started is pump some of that rainwater out of the bottom of the pond to make it a little easier to get in there.
It has not stopped raining since we have been on site.
It's Monday afternoon.
After 3 months of a drought down here, but you know what? You deal with what you've got. Ed did actually more work anticipating that the weather was not going to be the best. What's going on?
Fish feeder going off.
I'm like, well, there's the enthusiasm. We need to be like those fish, right? So, Ed, I'll let you talk about what the goal is here for the rest of the day today.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, how about a hand for Ed?
All right, so what we want to try to do, so you can see we've obviously done a ton of work here. When we arrived on site several weeks ago, there was an excavation here. So this was a cove that Stephen had built and then they actually changed it. They dammed it off. So originally it was actually connecting into the main pond. They then put a dam across it, and he was raising prawns inside of this for feeding his fish. So the prawns grew out, put all the prawns into the pond. Now we had this this old hole basically to work with. So what we wanted to do is make some twists and turns and all that fun stuff inside of it, which is what we did. This area right where we're standing, this will be that beautiful sand beach that I was talking about last night.
Is that coming today?
That is coming this afternoon. So my goal is by tomorrow morning, I want to start putting water inside of this. So what we're going to try to do is focus everything inside the pond. You can see we're probably 75+% rocked in right now. We'll focus on some of this interesting stuff over here, how we tie it into the beach area. Then we'll start working our way up the waterfall. Now you can see we've used more of those logs. These came out of just these woods right over here. I love tying all those different things in just because it breaks up the monotony of all rock. I'm a huge fan of this stone, but I also want to try to hide it. I want to blend it. I want to start work with these different textures and things like that. And I also believe that there is a biodiversity benefit when you add a wooden element into the pond. There are different microorganisms that are going to live on a piece of wood, then they'll live on sand, then on rock, then gravel, then boulders. So biodiversity is very important when we're talking about a recreational water feature. As we move our way up, we're going to have a waterfall cascading in right in the corner. And then going all the way up that way, there's going to be a series of just gentle cascades. We have a really nice slope to work with. I want to have a log popping up probably around 16 to 18 inches above this. So that's going to kind of create like a depression here. We'll take some of our geotextile fabric, we'll wrap it up on the back side of the log, and we'll screw it in place. That will create a nice barrier. Then we'll be able to fill all of this in with sand. The reason I want to go with a log here instead of these rocks is for his children. So when they're playing around on the beach, they could walk through the sand and they could walk down over this log. It's not going to be sharp. It's going to be one big piece. We're not going to have sand kind of going in, kind of sliding its way underneath it. We're going to come off on the side of this with a couple big outcroppings of rock. We have a couple big flat ones. I'd like to make a little standing area or feeding area here. Kids could be in the water. They could sit off on the side. They could relax. You got the bass pond on one side, recreational pond on the other. So this is a perfect marriage of all of those different things.
So now it's time for the fun to begin. We've got rain in the forecast for the next 24 hours, so conditions are going to be a little muddy. But the Aquascape crew are no strangers to tough conditions. They built a big pond for Shaq, and it flooded from start to finish. But the plan was to divide and conquer, so we split people up into groups. Some guys were working on the wetland filter, others were building out the waterfall feature, and some of us were working on lights, aquatic plants, and hauling some of that smaller gravel to help cover some of these areas like the intake bay. And Ed's continuing his design and laying out the beach area of the pond and getting that area excavated out. But the biggest surprise for me is the pace of a project like this. With so many people working at the same time, the work gets done at an incredible pace, and if you leave for just 10 minutes and come back, it looks like everything changed. So next up, we're setting one of the original pieces of the crimson oak tree that fell over. I thought it was only right to tie a portion of that tree into this pond as well, because after all, that tree lived on this land for roughly 150 years. But if you've never worked on a project with Ed, if it's not 100% perfect, he's going to continue moving and adjusting until it is. So we got another excavator over and adjusted the boulder and log until it created that perfect aesthetic look. And today's video is brought to you by The Ridge, and if you're like me and have been looking for an alternative to those big bulky wallets, then the Ridge wallet is a perfect fit for you. It's designed to hold up to 12 cards and includes a cash strap, but keeps that slim profile which allows you to wear it in your front or back pockets. And for an added bonus, it comes with a little peace of mind and was designed with RFID blocking materials that protects you from those digital pickpocketers. And they have over 30 color patterns to choose from. And another really cool product is the Ridge key case, which holds up to 6 keys and was designed to eliminate the jingle, so no more rattling keychain. And a few highlights of the Ridge wallet is it includes a lifetime warranty, as well as a 99-day risk-free trial. But my favorite is that each of the Ridge products have an AirTag attachment to keep you from losing those valuables. And if you're looking for a gift idea for this holiday season, it's perfect timing because they're having a holiday sale. If you go to ridge.com/BamaBass, you can get up to 30% off through December 20th. And by using my link, you'll enter free for a chance to win a Ridge bundle worth $4,000. So a big shout out to the Ridge because they kept me from having that wet leather wallet during all the rain this week. So as I mentioned, there were around 45 tons of gravel. And on a project like this, the guys came up with some pretty creative ways to get that moved into all the pockets and nooks and crevices between those boulders and wood. And the deepest part of the pond is going to be covered with some really small gravel, which I can already tell you, if there's bluegills in the pond, that's going to be their rock of choice when spawning season comes around. And we're also getting several lights installed in the deep portion of the pond as well as the waterfall, because you guys know how much I like to feed the fish at night. Alright, got Toby all the way from the UK here with us, certified arborist. He is cutting one of the trees. We're getting this piece right here. Ed needed a tree with a nice bend in it, so this has a nice curve right here that's going to go along that beach area. So Toby's going to cut it up for us, and we're going to drag it out with a skid steer. Got him. So with this pond, we mostly try to use hardwoods like cedar and oak, because they'll still be around 20 years from now. And some of Ed's requests were tough. As you can see, this log has a big bend in it, but it also had to be the right diameter because we're using it right at the base of the beach area as a barrier to keep the sand in the beach area and also make it easy to access the pond. And for an added bonus, it even has some resurrection fern. So keep in mind, all of this submerged wood is going to naturally try to float. And I learned a lot seeing some of their anchoring techniques. For this one, they attached fabric to the tree, and when we pour the sand on top of it, that weight will help hold it down, as well as adding a couple pieces of rebar and then stacking the big stones on top of that. So this one should not budge. So next up, Ed and I talked about designing a portion of this pond for the kids to play in. So we hauled in some beach sand from about 30 miles south of here. And Alabama doesn't have many tourist attractions, but the one thing we do have is some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. The sand will have a brownish tint to it when wet, and then when it dries out, it resembles that white bunker sand you'll see on a golf course. And we kind of knew that going into unloading the sand, the truck was probably going to get stuck. But sand is one of those things you don't want to have to move around. So we backed him right up to the spot because we knew we had equipment here that could pull him out. So it was an incredible day of work, even with the tough conditions. You can see we started construction on the small dock, got the sand brought in, the waterfall area excavated, and a whole lot of wood and stone set in place. And I'm very impressed with the amount these guys were able to do in the tough weather conditions. Greg, why don't you give us a formal introduction to our new friends?
All right, we have Arms Family Homestead here. We have the boss, which is Houston, and we have his sidekick, which is Daniel.
I just take the fish off the hook.
Houston had a galvanized cattle trough, right?
Just a stock tank.
And he put some fish in it, and I saw it. And what did I say on your thing?
You said he needs to be aquascaped.
Aquascape.
Yeah, he had already followed some of our vlogs, so I flew out there and met with them. We went hog hunting.
Yeah.
Got some hogs.
Awesome.
And then we went back a few months later and put in an 8x11 pond right next to the house. And now the reason that Arms are here is they're trying to get inspired or get some ideas for their own recreation pond.
Yeah.
That would be basically next fall as well.
Yep.
Which is very typical. So just like with you, we built your pond at your house, and now we're building your rec pond out here.
Yep.
And so we built a small pond at their house, and now they're upgrading to a recreation pond that we're going to make his about 6 feet deep so he can jump into it off one of the dive rocks.
Awesome. So they have a very similar channel to ours. They do a lot of the same stuff. So I'll leave a link down in the description. You guys can go check them out. Appreciate you guys coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So Houston is a big fisherman and decided to challenge Greg to a fishing competition. Let's see how that unfolds.
Houston didn't even cast his pole out there. He just set it in the water. Bass you got right there. You know that, right?
Yeah. He's getting caught on that
Scan him real quick. He has been caught before. He's 570000. So I can tell you guys when I get back to my computer exactly what his name is and when the last time we caught him was. So this fish is named Apollo, and if you're not familiar with it, we tag all of our fish. And interestingly enough, we caught this fish almost exactly a year ago, and this is the 5th time we've caught him, and 4 of those times have been right in front of the dock. But if you notice, this is also a fish we caught twice on the same day on 6/14. That's another one of those reasons I love to tag them.
Oh, yep.
There you go.
There we go. Hurry up. You better hurry up, Houston.
Now every fisherman in the world is making fun of Greg.
So if you want to, flip it over and reel it left hand.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
There we go.
That looks much better, doesn't it?
you'll basically just let it sit on the bottom and just wiggle it a little bit.
Okay,
He's
you
a
want
power
to drag
fisherman.
the worm on the bottom.
Yeah, he's definitely a power fisherman. Look at him. I think his is a little bigger.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Yeah!
I think yours is a little bigger.
Uh-huh.
You got him?
Houston. No. My line was not wet yet.
All right, let me.
I'd say that's about 10 pounds.
Easily 10 pounds.
Listen, you gotta hold him way
Yeah, towards the camera. There you go.
Yeah, see, now he looks like a 10-pounder.
So this fish had never been caught before, so I inserted a pit tag and let Greg name him, and we should have known what was coming.
Pond guy.
Oh, you're gonna name it Pond Guy.
Houston was quite the fisherman, caught a lot of bass, and even caught the first tilapia. And Daniel actually caught the biggest bass that was almost 2 pounds bigger than any we've caught. And I'm going to be showing you that in the next video. So back to the pond build. Ed working on all those small details in the waterfall area and designing the way the water's going to come crashing down. And the guys are almost finished with construction on the wetland area, and they even used some of the cedar wood to build a nice eagle perch. Now that would be incredible to see one perched there one day. And we got all the gravel set in the bottom deep portion of the pond. And next up, they're going to start strategically placing some of those aquatic plants. And as you can see, they're removing the original pot they came in and moving them to a bigger pot so they have some room to grow. But also that bigger pot still contains the root system and doesn't allow it to get out of hand. Even though we may not see some of these plants until next spring, I'm happy that we got them set in place during the pond construction. And now Ed's setting one of those big flat viewing stones that's above the water level and sticks out into the pond, so you'll be able to stand out on it and get a good view of the entire pond. So the last little bit of the waterfall is getting excavated out, and we have about a 5-foot drop from the wetland filter on top of the hill to the water level at the pond. And that depth should allow us to create a few nice waterfalls leading down into the pond. So this is absolutely one of my favorite features of the waterfall. Check out this cool looking cedar that he's building into the waterfall, and it's just like something you'd see out there in nature where a tree had fallen down and the water's crashing over it. It's a perfect piece because it adds that extra character with those limbs coming out that are going to split the water and have it going in different directions. And on a side note, I asked you all to help me name this pond in our last video. One guy said Cedar Falls. That's starting to look like a pretty good name, but we're keeping that contest open for one more week. So leave a comment down below on what you think we should name the new pond. And now guys are beginning construction on the dock. We're using some leftover pilings from the 5-acre pond dock we built. So in the beginning, when Ed drew his plan out on paper, it's kind of hard to visualize that design on a much larger scale. But now that we're at this point in the pond build, the overhead drone view has given us a little insight to what the finished product is going to look like, and I couldn't be happier with the progress we've made this far. So here pretty soon we're going to start landscaping around the perimeter of the pond. So you'll see them start setting trees and big stones, and we're kind of building everything up around the back of the pond to keep things from washing down in it. It'll also create some nice depth when we start bringing those plants and trees in. So one of the most time-consuming parts of this pond is setting the big boulders, and as I mentioned in a previous video, some of these can weigh 2,000 pounds. So you have to strap them up and use an excavator to get them set in place. And the majority of them require additional smaller rocks to be set beneath them or propped up against them to give it that perfect angle. So while it's a tedious and time-consuming process, it really is what defines the entire look and feel of any pond build. And if you notice in the background, the guys finished up the dock. There's only one thing left to do, and that's add some water. So we ran a 2-inch line from our well that feeds the 5-acre pond over here to the new pond, and that well pumps out about 100 gallons per minute. So that gives you around 6,000 gallons per hour. And since this pond is roughly 30,000 gallons, it should take around 5 hours to fill up. And obviously with all the rain and mud we've had, it's going to be pretty dirty in the beginning. But I'll probably rinse and cycle this pond a few times over the next couple days until we get it cleared up. So this is just below water level, but you're starting to get a feel for how it's going to look. And that retaining log turned out great. The water level is probably going to go about a foot higher into that sandy beach area. Still blown away by how good these cedar pieces turned out in the waterfall. That looks incredible.
You guys were out there slaving away, putting all those rocks in, getting that sand spread and everything else. I was doing the hard work, which was fishing against Houston. Come on up here, Houston. Houston challenged me to a fishing contest. I asked him how much he wanted to bet. And how much do you think Houston said he wanted to bet? $100. Right now, I'm going to tell you my version of the fishing story. We're gonna let Houston tell you his version of the fishing story, and then we're gonna let you guys vote on who wins, okay? But I was handed a pole. Houston was handed a pole. It was whoever caught the first fish. But my lure was still hooked up, so I was untangling my line, and while I was untangling my line, Houston dropped the lure of his pole in, and a fish bit it. Now, I hadn't put mine in yet, so I think that I should win because I actually caught the first fish when both of our poles were in the water. Now, Houston, what's your version of events?
I won.
All right, so by a round of applause, who thinks Houston won the contest? By a round of applause, who thinks the pond guy won the contest?
We hit all the definite markers that we set. We got the bottom of the pond done. We got the sand in. We got the drop the tree out in the woods. We put that in. Started doing the dock over on the back edge. We actually excavated the area out between the pond and the wetland filter, getting it ready for the waterfall. The wetland is actually all rocked in as well. So now we do have still obviously a lot of work. Edging is going to take time. That's actually very, very tedious. The waterfall construction also very tedious, but we can split up into multiple teams. We're going to start off by doing edging as well as aquatic plants. Steve Stroop brought those the plants out earlier. We put the big water lilies down in the bottom of the pond. Those are located. Now we're going to start doing some of the perimeter stuff, the marginal aquatic plants. Once that's done, we're going to start bringing water in. So Steven's got a bunch of PVC pipe ready for us. He's got a well connection over at the far end over there. So I would like to try to get that pipe glued up tomorrow so we can get water going in here by mid-morning or so. So I think it should fill up fairly quickly for us. Russell, where's Russell at? Did a great job washing. That's a thankless job. It's actually usually Greg's job. So he took a good job. Washing everything down, but did a really good job of cleaning everything just because of all the mud that was going inside there. So I think everything is really, really looking good right now. I feel very comfortable. I think we have plenty of materials. Everything's kind of falling in place. I'm looking forward to a good full day tomorrow. Jason Duffney is leaving Jacksonville. Steven told me around 3 a.m. So he wants to be here right away when everything starts up, bringing out some of those character plants, and then he's also going to go run to the nursery to grab some more plant material so we could highlight certain key areas in and around the water feature.
He's did a great job with this tent. It's pretty nice and warm in here. We got a nice dinner. We're going to have a nice evening. I thought right now, though, it's 6 o'clock. Let's go grab some food.
I'm actually seeing a pond like this being built. I can honestly say we invented it. You guys have taken it and made it.
So what I like to do is meld all those different disciplines together. So we're trying to create a wildlife pond. We're trying to create something for fish. We're trying to create something for Stephen and Liz to do underwater photography and filming. We're trying to create something for his family to actually enjoy, which is actually the whole concept of a recreational pond. And that's what I love about what we do. It really encompasses all these different things. So Stephen wanted a larger pond than his current one. Not obviously the big bass ponds, clearly, but this is a rubber-lined pond. We have a rubber membrane going on under everything that allows us to control the water quality. So by doing that, we're going to have very, very clean, clear water, which is going to allow his family to immerse themselves in the water in many, many different ways. The pond's going to be about 4.5 feet deep. With some beautiful aquatic plants coming in from central Alabama.
Oh, is that tomorrow they're coming?
Steve Stroop is coming tomorrow morning. Stephen ordered a truckload of beach sand from right here on the Gulf Coast, which these are the best beaches in the world. So the Gulf Coast sand is just phenomenal. So the combination of the aqua blue boulders as well as that beautiful white sand is just going to be stunning. The other thing that we did was we actually went out to the woods right here, some down trees in the forest from various storms, we incorporated those into the feature. I love to tie in that natural story by utilizing local materials. So even though we brought the rock in from Wisconsin, the logs and the wood and the sand is all coming from 30 miles from this location. Actually, the logs are 1,000 feet from here. So tying all those different things together is just going to be an incredible story for Stephen and Liz to talk about for the next 30 years of their lives. So I'm looking forward to many, many years of following his incredible content coming out. This pond will be viewed by millions and millions of people. So we are obviously going to pour our heart and soul into everything, as we always do. Every project is incredible. Everyone is unique, which is why we're here for the very, very final regional event for Aquascape 2023.
Awesome.
Woo-hoo.
So 2 things at a regional event. We say, which is perfect for the food, we say it's like an old-fashioned Amish barn raising. Everybody gets together, we have great food, we have great networking. There's going to be people under the, I'll be in here talking, maybe fishing a little bit. It's about the networking and then getting our hands dirty. Like if you want to learn, go right next to these guys. You know, Ed has been doing this for over 30 years now with me. Trevor is, if he was not working at Aquascape, he would be up there with some of the artists of the year. We've got longtime certified Aquascape contractors here. And so this is what you want to do. You want to network with each other. It's not just about the build, it's about the relationships and connecting and everything else. It's a perfect thing because we get to do our art.
So my hat's off to this Aquascape crew and the incredible job they've done. And if you're looking to build a pond of any size, do me a favor and reach out to one of these guys that's closest in your area, and I guarantee you they'll take good care of you.
Hey, what's up everybody? My name's Bill and I'm with Brothers Water Gardens out of Texas City, Texas. I'm a certified Aquascape contractor and I can be found at brotherswatergardens.com.
Awesome, man. We appreciate you coming out.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, down here at the deer plot, got Toby again with us from the UK, and we're gonna do a quick questionnaire with Toby. So what's like the biggest difference you've seen here in the US versus the UK? Like the food or the...
Yeah, the food, definitely the food.
So what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's so good here. The portion sizes are massive, but yeah, really enjoyed the food. So much better than the UK.
Anything in particular?
Peach cobbler.
Peach cobbler, yeah.
That was a life-changing
awesome.
experience. Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. Bucky's as well.
Bucky's,
is an
yeah.
experience.
It is,
Yeah.
it sure is. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. All right, man. Well, hey, again, we appreciate you coming all the way from the UK.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we got the man here that's been in the excavator the entire time. Who we got?
Chris Siewing with Nature's Recreations out of St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri. Hey, I appreciate you coming out.
Thanks for having us. It's been a blast.
My name's Gill. I'm with Eastern Iowa Landscape Services. We're in Muscatine, Iowa. We're a full certified pond installer, and we do a lot of other outdoor services as far as patios, walls, anything you need in the backyard. We're there for you.
Awesome. Hey, this is the heavy hitter, the heavy lifter. Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Hey everyone, my name is Mike Hecker. I'm with Flying Creek Waterscapes out of Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. We're a pond-to-water feature company out of there. And right now we're down in Robertsdale, Alabama, building a pond for brown bass.
Awesome.
Big time.
All the way down from Canada. Hey, we appreciate you coming out.
Yep, appreciate you having us here.
Hey, it's Brian Dahle with the Fishman in Birmingham, Alabama. Back again at Bama Bass Part 2, Stevens Recreation Pond Build. Excited to be here. We're putting the finishing touches, the detail, we call it the critical 10%. Things like moss that we put around the driftwood, and then we're putting some aquatic plants in little tucks to soften up the hard look of the boulders.
Yep.
And it'll look instantly aged and like it's been here forever.
And he was with us on our first pond build in the backyard pond. So, hey, we appreciate you coming down for this one as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
My name's Guy Edwards with Big Rock Ponds. This is Joel McCall and Kristen Spiker. And we are here to show up and show out for Aquascape and Bama Bass.
Awesome. Where are you out of, Guy?
Gadsden, Alabama.
Gadsden, Alabama. Some local Alabamians.
Yep.
Hey, I appreciate you guys coming out.
Thank you, sir.
We got Trevor over here doing some edge work. Trevor, tell us about where you came in from.
Well, I came in with Aquascape from the Chicagoland area. I'm with their tech department, so I'm in the office most of the time, but I love getting my hands dirty.
Hey, we appreciate you coming out, Trevor.
Of course, that's a pleasure, my pleasure.
Hey, I'm Mac McCaleb from here in South Alabama. I do lawn care and landscaping in the area, and after this experience, I'm thinking about adding ponds to the services I provide.
Awesome.
So really happy to be here. It's awesome.
And it's Max Landscaping,
Max
right?
Landscaping, that's right.
Awesome. Hey, he's the closest one out of Foley, Alabama, so just down a little south of us. Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks a lot.
All right, who we got here?
Beyond McGowan.
John McGowan.
Tim Hadjick.
Gabe Villas. We're with Amen Corner Ponds out of Aiken, South Carolina.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming out. Thanks so much.
Hey, I'm Amanda.
Hey, I'm Toby.
I'm Kelsey. And we're from Aquascape.
Out of
St. Charles, Illinois.
Awesome. Thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
I'm Russell Sabo from New Ulm, Minnesota. My company is Foamscapes and Waterfalls, and having a great time.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you coming out.
Thanks.
Brian from Aquatopia Water Gardens.
And where'd you come from?
Southern California.
Southern California. How far of a trip was that?
Wasn't too bad. It's a 3-hour flight, pretty much.
Okay.
3-4 hour flight.
Okay, we appreciate you coming out from California. Thank you.
I'm Austin. I'm with the Pond Company.
I'm Matt, also with the Pond Company.
And where are you guys out of?
We're out of Bloomington, Minnesota.
Bloomington, Minnesota. Hey, I appreciate you guys coming out today. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Hi, Roy here from Aqua Landscapes, Carroll Stream, Illinois.
Hey, I appreciate you coming out, Roy.
Thank you. Appreciate you having us here.
Nathaniel Goff with Goff's Lawn Care.
Brian Goff.
Where are you guys out of?
We're out of Louisville, Kentucky. You can email us at goffslawn.care@gmail.com.
At gmail.com. All right. Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming down and thanks for all the hard work.
It's been awesome.
Hey, I'm Bubba Hogan. I'm with Mid-South Ponds in Memphis, Tennessee.
Hey, we appreciate all the help this week, Bubba.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's Sean Baker. I am Ed and Greg's social media community manager for Aquascape, and I've been out here at the Bama Bass Build just shooting a bunch of content for social media.
Awesome, man. Hey, that's a full-time job, isn't it, working for Greg?
Oh, yeah. Just Greg himself, and then I got another full-time working with that.
Yeah. All right, man. I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, man.
Hi, Lisa McGinnis here. I produce and film and edit and do all kinds of stuff for Ed's channel. We've been working together since the beginning of his channel, and it's been a true honor meeting all these different YouTubers and collaborations and everything. 4 years now, we finally got our silver play button. It's a lot of accomplishments, but it's these types of situations and being able to see the beach go in and your kids coming in and playing, and those moments when the cameras turn off and the lights come on and we're all just sitting around enjoying the beautiful artwork that they do.
Nice. Hey, we appreciate you coming out. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
So a lot of hard work went into this build so far, and you're starting to get a glimpse of what that final look is going to be. So we got one final day of the build, and in the next video, you're going to get to see my family's reaction, which after all is one of the big reasons we built this pond. And we're also going to have a little fishing competition between Greg and Ed that is highly entertaining. And we're going to have Jason with Earthworks out of Jacksonville, Florida, coming in to put the finishing touches on the landscape. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, and also go check out some of these other guys that have YouTube channels in the description of this video. But I hope you all enjoyed following along with this incredible pond build, and we can't wait to show you the final result. Hope you all enjoyed this one, and we will see you all next time.